Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. You are going to hear from Miss Daniels. You're going to hear from former President Donald Trump. You're going to hear from Michael Cohen and others. Legal scholars talking about perjury. The key witness committed perjury. Hit subscribe, possibly, allegedly, very likely. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. He might very well get convicted, Trump. There's a chance he doesn't, but it's a jury in a Democratic-run city. We've seen what's taken place. If he gets convicted, just like with the Supreme Court, it will be overturned on appeal, just like the 9-0 unanimous Supreme Court victory Trump had overturning the unconstitutional authoritarian ban in Colorado. Hit subscribe. Let's listen to Miss Daniels right now talking about the key witness.
For years, Mr. Cohen has acted like he is above the law. He has considered himself and openly referred to himself as Mr. Trump's fixer. He is played by a different set of rules, or should we say no rules at all. He has never thought that the little man, or especially women, and even more women like me, mattered. That ends now. My attorney and I are committed to making sure that everyone finds out the truth and the facts of what happened, and I give my word that we will not rest until that happens.
So you just heard from Miss Daniels demeaning, or I should say contradicting, Michael Cohen, or explaining that she does not trust the key witness against Trump. So Michael Cohen, Stormy, others might testify, will likely testify. This is a press release from Elise Stefanik talking about perjury, lying under oath. So the foundation of this is Michael Cohen. He took out money from his own account, started a business to pay Miss Daniels because she signed a non-disclosure agreement. The hush money was a non-disclosure agreement that was completely legal. She took the money. And by the way, to my super chat, thank you. Paul Bartlett, thank you so very much. Now, this is not a crime, okay? Perjury, however, is a crime. And he did testify to Congress. Right after he testified, there were statements that he made that contradicted themselves 2 different times under oath. So this will be overturned on appeal, not only because of the likely perjury, but also because these are misdemeanors in New York that were elevated to a felony because they tried to say that the record keeping, the business record keeping, was about federal election laws. But the FEC did not find Trump. They fined Clinton and the DNC. That's a huge problem, in addition to the fact that, for purchasing the Steele dossier, in addition to the fact that he might well have committed perjury numerous times, potentially. Hit subscribe if you're new to this channel.
John Sale joins me now. John, I guess it should be a surprise. Since that testimony, we've seen a lot of contradictions at the very least, and some that seem to be outright lies.
Well, Charles, Michael Cohen's wish list obviously was to get a reduction of his sentence, and I predict he may see just the opposite. I tried to watch him with an open mind. I came into this I was a Watergate prosecutor, and I remember John Dean, and John Dean's testimony took down a president. But boy, was it different. I mean, remember, John Dean himself was secretly recorded. Michael Cohen, as a lawyer, selectively recorded his own client. I mean, imagine that. But so I start off with an open mind, and Michael Cohen begins his testimony by name calling. He calls the president names. Now, anybody who prepares a witness knows that if you really have something of substance, don't go to name calling. Just get right down to it and be dispassionate. And he came across as somebody who had an agenda, who was bitter. He went from darkness to light, blind loyalty. Well, he did not have a cooperation agreement with the Southern District. And the Southern District, in their sentencing memo, said he just cooperated. He did this belatedly, and he profited to a great deal. But what did he lie about? Or whether or not it's perjury remains to be seen. He misled the Congress. What did he lie about? What did he mislead the Congress about? Number one, give me a break. He didn't want a job in the White House. I mean, that is easily proven. But more importantly, when he said clearly, he used the word, I never requested nor would I accept a pardon. Well, never means never. And despite the fact that Lanny Davis tried to do some damage control, where are we? What is the meaning of is? What does is mean? I mean, he wanted a pardon. What's he going to do if he gets a pardon? He's going to say, return to sender. I'm rather going to go to jail for 3 years. I mean, he downright lied. So there goes the value of his testimony. And remember, he reluctantly said, I don't know anything about collusion. Right. And that's what this is all about.
Two things there that I want to come. Let's start backwards. That I didn't want a pardon. Semantics. Maybe his lawyer asked. Maybe his lawyer went and asked without him even knowing about it. I mean, when they bring these things up, if they're eventually brought up in a perjury hearing, will his defense be, well, that was my lawyer. I was telling the truth. I never personally requested any assistance from the White House.
Well, that's the argument. I'd rather be on the prosecutor's side of that argument. Lawyers do what clients tell them to do, and something as important as a pardon, a lawyer doesn't keep that secret from a client. A client would be thrilled to get a pardon. Do you know how unusual that is? But in this case, Michael Cohen's not getting a pardon.
John, you talked about not playing to the Southern District. Instead, it did feel like he was playing exactly to the room, and we've learned that there was extensive rehearsals, hours and hours and hours. Perhaps that's what drove him to take this sort of very harsh personal attack on President Trump right out of the gate, and something that we were there to get, again, ultimately we thought we were going to hear about something with regard to Russian collusion. Could he have spent too much time trying to appease the Democrats in that room?
He did some cute things. He used some things that were obviously sound bites. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like, I did bad things, but I'm not a bad person. I told lies, but I'm not a liar. Now, those things were obviously written for him by somebody else. And furthermore, he had an agenda, and I think he's looking to sell books, and he should have just been dispassionate, and I just don't think he was credible.
Paul Bartlett, by the way, in Australia, thank you so very much, as always. So kind of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Trump will very likely get convicted, and it'll be overturned on appeal. Again, nothing that they've done against Trump, none of the indictments will lead to even 1 second in jail or prison, nor is Trump petrified or afraid or scared. So Democrats and media have been obsessed with trying to convince people that Trump is so scared and frightened. This couldn't be further from the truth. Not even 1 second in prison or jail for Trump, because all of these indictments are written as if they were written by a Democratic operative or an MSNBC or CNN producer. They're very vague, broad, ambiguous. That's why you got a 9-0 unanimous Supreme Court ruling overturning the Colorado ban. That's why he'll get partial immunity later this month. That's why he'll be over it's just a misdemeanor. This does not, in New York, you see what's taking place right now. There are people committing major crimes out on bail. Okay, so this is a misdemeanor record-keeping crime. It does not entail jail or prison. It only entails a fine. They elevated it in the most malicious and petulant and deliberate and partisan manner. And everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. This is a really, really interesting, by the way, back and forth between Congressman Thomas Massie and Michael Cohen during testimony. This is really, really interesting. Also sinks the case against Trump.
Mr. Cohen, can you just clarify, did you say that at times you would do what you thought Mr. Trump wanted you to do, not specifically what he told you to do?
At times, yes.
So you just went on your intuition?
I don't know if I would call it intuition as much as I would just say my knowledge of what he wanted, because it happened before and I knew what he had wanted.
Does a lawyer have a duty to provide his client with good legal advice?
Yes,
Were you a good lawyer to Mr. Trump?
I believe so.
When you arranged a payment to Ms. Clifford, you say in your testimony, I'm going to quote from your testimony, that you did so, quote, without bothering to consider whether that was improper, much less whether it was the right thing to do. You said that, unquote. That's your testimony today. You said you didn't even consider whether it was legal. How could you give your client legal advice when you're not even considering whether it's legal?
I did what I knew Mr. Trump wanted. This conversation with Mr. Trump
I didn't ask whether you're a good fixer. I asked whether you were a good lawyer.
Sometimes you have to melt both together. I needed to, at that time, ensure and protect Mr. Trump.
So-
And if I put which I'm clearly suffering the penalty of, I clearly erred on the side of wrong.
So you feel like without bothering to consider whether it was proper, much less whether it was the right thing to do, by ignoring any conscience, if you have one, that you were protecting Mr. Trump.
I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand.
You feel that was how to protect, as his lawyer, you feel that you did a good job. You said you were a good lawyer, right?
That's
Is that
correct.
being a good lawyer? To not even consider whether it's legal or not?
I didn't work for the campaign. I was working and I was trying to protect Mr. Trump.
About a campaign.
I sat with Mr. Trump, and this goes back all the way to 2011. This wasn't the first scenario with Ms. Daniels.
Let's go back then.
So, my point is, this was an ongoing situation. It didn't just start in
Right.
October. Sir,
I wanna
please,
go
you have
back.
to let me finish.
Well,
It started in It didn't start in October.
let me
it
ask you
started
specifically
many
on that.
years earlier.
when were you disbarred?
Yesterday, from what I read in the paper.
Yesterday. When should you have been disbarred, based on the legal counsel you were giving your client?
I don't have an answer for your question.
How long were you counsel for Mr. Trump?
Since 2007.
When is the first time you gave him bad legal advice or failed to inform him of his legal obligations, as you testified today you did in the case of the payment to Ms. Clifford? When was the first time you did that? Would that qualify for disbarment?
I don't know, sir. I'm not the Bar Association.
I think you should consult with them maybe occasionally on some of these things.
There's no point now. I lost my law license.
Has anybody else promised to pay Mr. Davis for representing you?
No.
Nobody has.
No. Are you offering?
Question, quickly. July, you said, and this is also in your testimony, in the days before the Democratic Convention, you became privy to a conversation that some of Hillary Clinton's emails would be leaked. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Was that you said late July? Do you know the exact day?
I believe it was either the 18th or the 19th, and I would guess that it would be on the 19th.
But it was definitely July.
I believe so, yes.
Do you know that was public knowledge in June? This was Mr. Assange, and I'd like to submit this, unanimous consent to submit this for the record.
Without objection, so
Mr. Assange reported to the media on June 12th that those emails would be leaked. So I'm not saying you have fake news, I'm saying you have old news, and there's really not much to that. I would like to yield the remainder of my time to Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cohen, I'm quoting you close I can. Earlier said, I spent last week looking through boxes to find documents that would support your accusations.
By the way, I love both congressmen.
Where are those boxes, good sir? Where are those boxes? Are they in your garage? Or?
They're in the storage.
And are these not boxes that should have been turned over to investigative authorities during the many criminal investigations you've been subject to?
Sir, these are the boxes that were returned to me
If they include data pertinent to crimes that you've committed, should they not have been turned over and remanded to investigative authority? Did Mr. Lanny Davis know of these boxes?
No,
the gentleman's time has expired. You may answer the question.
I don't understand his question, sir.
Very well. Christian Morsi.
Mr. Cohen, Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Cummings, for convening this hearing, and thank you, Mr. Cohen, for
So you have Michael Cohen under oath, initially at one point stating he didn't care about a pardon, which is the Trump team can prove that, of course, he did. But there are other issues as well. There are potentially other issues with perjury regarding the case, the indictments against Trump's corporation, where you had one elderly employee sentenced recently to 6 months. So Democrats, what they do is they start by going for the most absurd allegation when they can't prove that. Like they say Trump worked with the Kremlin, and then when they can't prove that, they say, well, you lied under oath or you did something bad. So they try to ensnare and entrap people. And so what they're doing is desperately going after Trump. They want the Associated Press and Reuters and the MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, Washington Post, and others to write and publish convicted felon Trump versus Biden. This is their dream. Nobody is going to care. Democrats and the current president, mashed potato brains, is so utterly, miserably failed. Inflation. We're on the brink of a stock market collapse, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been telling you this for a while. The Lord knows what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, that could be a catalyst, or that could be part of huge part of the equation, which I believe will unfortunately take place. I don't want it to happen, but you pump trillions because Democrats and bureaucrats and media said Trump can't open up. The experts say it's bad to open up the economy. So you had Democratic governors shutting down economic activity, pumping trillions into the economy. And so then you have inflation, obviously. And then what he does is make it difficult for oil and gas companies with executive orders. Then he blames the oil and gas companies. Then he's sued by oil and gas associations. Then he floods the country full of strategic petroleum reserves. Biden does. Then interest rates go through the roof. Then inflation somewhat goes down. And then he goes and says, oh, well, I took care of student loans. When these former students at the universities can't find jobs or buy a home because interest rates are too high, or because the minimum wage at $20 closes down fast food locations, or, you would hope after you're graduating. Anyway, that's a whole other story. The point is, foreign policy is an unmitigated disaster, an unmitigated catastrophe. And so Trump will still win. He'll still win. Okay, but they want to say that he's a convicted felon Trump. That's what they want to say. It's not going to matter because Democrats are so utterly inept at governing. It could be convicted felon on an island, that Napoleon was, banished to convicted felon Trump. Nobody's going to care because they know that Democrats are using New York City to go after Trump. That's obvious. I mean, if Clinton, by the way, they made such a big deal about Clinton's emails. Nobody asked how top secret and special access program intelligence found its way onto servers outside the U.S. government. Okay, and then what Biden did was even worse. He had classified data in like 5 or 6 different locations. And he did not have, nor did Clinton, the power to declassify like a president, but they still indicted Trump. So, of course, there's a double standard. But here's the beautiful and wonderful and intelligent and awesome Alina Habba.
Spokeswoman Alina Habba. Alina, it's great to have you on. Michael Cohen, Trump's former attorney, his fixer, said this. Watch.
So let's not forget, Alina Habba made a terrible error, Trump's attorney, by failing to check off a certain box that had the case as a jury trial. It is now a bench trial. So Judge Engoron will be the sole decider on what the damages are.
Yeah, no surprise. Cohen's going after you. He's going after pretty much everybody. Alina, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked me about this. I can't even tell you. Michael Cohen, I'm not sure you've seen a courtroom before. I'm pretty sure you haven't, other than when I beat you a few months ago. But let's just remember something. Those of us that do actually litigate understand that under 6312, which is what this case is, you don't have a right, an absolute right to a jury. And that doesn't mean that I could check a box, Michael. So next time you should do a little research before you bash somebody. I'm not surprised. But look, this is a man who has made a career of being relevant by walking around from prosecutor to prosecutor, from three-letter government investigations to try and take down Trump. That's his identity. So it's not surprising to me that a man is upset with me. Look, he tried to sue President Trump. We beat him. That was not very well publicized because the left media doesn't want you to know. But this is who this guy is. So I really hope, he is careful with his words. He should be. He should also educate himself. But this is a man who doesn't have a license in the Southern District of New York, as we all know, called him a fraud, and he went to jail.
And I've got about 30 seconds for you. What do you make of the former president's children being dragged into this in the New York Times, saying he could lose some of his marquee properties?
What a disgrace. The Trump Organization is an amazing American story about business owned by a family. And now they've used his politics to go against his children. I mean, it's terrible. Never mind him and the 850 plus employees that work for this organization who I know and love. This is a terrible thing. And these children and all of them have done nothing wrong. It's a disgrace and it's a political witch hunt. It's a witch hunt now on children and family because they don't like Trump. By the way, our country was doing a whole lot better.
And it starts on Monday. Alina, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, Sean.
So, like I said, this is from a press release from Elise Stefanik, amazing congresswoman. And you heard from the testimony with Thomas Massie and Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen stated he would do things without being told, okay? That's a very bizarre legal strategy, to say that you would do things without being told. So I think that he was trying to explain why he, Michael Cohen, set up businesses or a business, put money into the business, had Ms. Daniels sign a non-disclosure agreement, pay her from the business he owned, not Trump, from his money, not Trump's. The FEC looked at that, did not find Trump. Somebody on the left, Democrat, progressive, somebody who dislikes Trump should explain why the FEC fined Clinton and the DNC fined former President Obama's campaign. I think it was the largest fine ever, but never fined Trump. Why is that? Why did the Federal Election Commission not fine Trump? Why did they not say that he broke a statute? Because he didn't break a statute. Because if it was simply to prevent Melania from knowing, the First Lady, the former First Lady, the future First Lady again, it's not a violation of campaign finance statutes. Hans A. von Spakovsky, a former FEC chairman, wrote about that. So you have not even a crime. Again, they're going after Trump with no crime. Meanwhile, Hunter and Joe and others blatantly commit crimes, and it's like, oh my God. And you look at, I can go on forever. It's just unbelievable. The double standard is unbelievable, but then again, here's what they don't want. This is President Trump in Atlanta. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. This is huge. This is something that you can always go back to this. You can always go back to this moment in time when he visited Georgia and see how much he's loved throughout the country. Donald Trump is I would say, morally superior man to Biden and Clinton and others. He did not destroy another nation or another foreign country in a military intervention like President Obama did. He called Libya his biggest mistake, like Bush did. Or he did not ruin the lives of so many people in terms of unintended consequences because of failed foreign policy. Trump did not get us into, he's the first president in decades not to get us into a new military quagmire. This alone makes him morally superior. But then we had record low poverty, record highs in household median income. Newly married couples could buy a home under Trump. Now mortgage payments are double, literally double under Biden. And food costs. And then you have, foreign policy is a nightmare and a catastrophe under Biden. Those things that took place under Biden, those global calamities, do not happen under Trump. If you disagree, it's likely that you could be possibly an imbecile, but also likely that you don't know much about foreign policy. Hit subscribe if you're new.
Hello, everybody. Get ready for a milkshake. You got plenty of them. All right. You got look at these good-looking guys. Huh?
This is an original from 2016.
Oh, I love this guy. I like that guy. Do you have a pen for me? Give me a good pen. That is the original, huh?
From 2016, Cleveland.
You've been there from the beginning.
Absolutely. From the convention.
You knew what was happening.
Absolutely.
You got it. That's cool, man. What's your name?
Lawrence.
Come here, Lawrence. Let me get this pen out of here. Come here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Really nice.
It's a pleasure. Yes, sir.
He understood long before the rest, right?
Mr. Trump, Shelley Winter.
Hi, Shelley.
I talked to you yesterday.
Oh, good. You are fantastic.
Thank you, brother.
You know Shelley?
Yes.
A great host. And are you guys
Radio
friends
show.
or
No,
something?
just the Asante.
Well, that's nice because he's been there a long time too.
Yes.
I think right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
We did a radio interview with Shelley yesterday, and I appreciated it.
I appreciate you very much.
I hung up. I said, "What a nice guy that is."
I'll bring in my clubs tomorrow along. I'll
You let me know. I'm telling you. You let me know,
Thank
Shelley.
you, brother.
If you have a retirement account like a 401k,
You knew what was happening.
Absolutely.
You got it. That's cool, man. What's your name?
Lawrence.
Come here, Lawrence. Let me get this pen out of here. Come here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Really nice.
It's a pleasure. Yes, sir.
He understood long before the rest, right?
Mr. Trump, Shelley Winter.
Hi, Shelley.
I talked to you
Oh,
yesterday.
good. You are fantastic.
Thank you, brother.
You know Shelley?
Yes.
A great
Yes.
host. And are you guys
Radio
friends
show.
or
No,
something?
just the Asante.
Well, that's nice because he's been there a long time too. I
Yes.
think right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
We did a radio interview with Shelley yesterday, and I appreciated it.
I appreciate you very much.
I hung up. I said, "What a nice guy that is."
I'll bring in my clubs tomorrow along. I'll just
You
knock
let
on
me
the door.
know. I'm telling you. You let me know,
Thank
Shelley.
you, brother. Thank you. God
Great.
bless you.
Watch his show. His show is great. Listen to his show.
Absolutely. 95.5.
He got it.
Yeah.
You two guys got it. Huh?
And all these kids do too.
I think so. Thank you, everybody.
wanted to
Thank
say
you.
hey.
So you're getting lots of milkshakes. Look at that handsome guy. I wish I had hair like that.
Right here?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think if Biden went to any, like a Chick-fil-A, whatever, McDonald's, whatever, you think if Biden or Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or anyone or, President Obama, maybe, yes, but I don't think you'd get even close to President Obama, maybe, yes, but not the fanfare with Trump. I mean, you wouldn't get Trump, you wouldn't get anything like this with a Democrat. Definitely not Biden. Nobody would care. I mean, nobody would care. And, of course, he's the most popular candidate of all time.
Hi, fellas. How you doing? Hey, Steve. How are you? Thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody.
How you doing, Trump?
I'm doing good.
I love you, man.
Good.
I love you.
How are you?
I'm well.
Everybody having a good time?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Can I get a hand?
Get ready.
Can I get a hand?
Yeah, I'd give you one.
Make them have a great.
You have one?
Y'all got one?
2024. Come on, man. You have it? I'll sign it.
I don't got one. I need one.
See if you can find one. I got to give him one.
I love Trump.
My originals, right? Don't give me that one. That's a valuable one. Grab one of these here.
That's the answer.
You can. Come on. Oh, really good. Thank you very much. That's great. Your family's good, right? That's good. We're not going to let him rig this election. We're not letting him rig
Stop
this
the
election.
steal.
Here you go. Grab that. Thank you. Take that. That's going to make you good and healthy. It's going to grow back that tooth. There you go. Who wants it? You want it?
Are you passing out milkshakes?
Yes, you can. See, you can afford to have it. You know why? Because you're thin. Who wants one of those?
I'll take
Can you imagine, and I say this with all due respect because it's really sad, can you imagine Biden handing out milkshakes? Could you imagine Biden doing that? That's the question. Could you imagine Biden doing that? Can you imagine Biden handing out milkshakes without a team of 100 Democrats around him, public relations consultants, advisors? I mean, here is, like when they say, oh, can't we find somebody better than Trump or Biden? No, Trump is great. People love him. People love Trump. They love Trump. And the people who don't like Trump, that's where the narcissism and the ego comes in. Just because you don't like Trump doesn't mean that more than half the country doesn't love him. That's why he's up in polls after 99% negative media coverage every single day, hour, second from 2015 until today. The world has changed a lot since 2015. One thing that remains constant is negative media coverage with Trump, and people still love him.
Come on, honey. Oh, you can. So Brian Jack, does anybody know Brian Jack?
Nope.
Brian Jack is running District 3. We got to vote for him. He's running for Congress.
I do. I put canvassers together, so all these HBCU students that you see here, I brought them here to meet you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we've also knocked doors for you in the past for your past re-election bid and when you ran the first time. Yes.
Wow.
I was interning for the GAGOP at that time as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Doing a lot for your tax credit reform bill and everything like that.
Well, we took care of those colleges.
Sure did. Much better than Biden did. So I was This is Clark Atlanta. This is Spelman. This is Morehouse. This is Morris Brown. They all came
Isn't that great?
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We love you.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come
for
here,
a
let
while.
me give you a hug.
Please
Thank you, sweetheart. That's really nice. No, we did. We took care of the black colleges, universities. They're taken care of now, and she understands it. A lot of people don't understand it. Biden did nothing for them, and I did.
So, Biden actually wrote the part of the 94 crime bill that has to do with sentencing disparities for a substance that his own son allegedly consumed, where people that look like, let's say, Hunter, got lesser sentences than other Americans. And still Democrats think that Biden or anyone is morally superior to Trump. What Democrats are, and this is why Hollywood has merged with the Democratic Party. Most of them are essentially actors. Trump is, there's a great deal of theater, but there's a great deal of substance. He's done more for the country than Biden has done. He did, if you look at foreign policy and domestic policy, he's done a lot more for the country, Trump, than President Obama in 8 years. President Obama in 8 years, with a failed intervention, ousting an authoritarian that led to human beings being bought and sold in Libya. And again, President Obama stated that was his worst mistake. Then, of course, you have poverty, record low poverty under Trump. Poverty is up under Biden. Okay, inflation is up still, even though interest rates are through the roof. The world is falling apart. And Trump was the first president to step foot in North Korea, to begin a détente between North and South Korea. These are noble things that he did, that he gets zero credit for. I don't care about anyone's personality. I don't care about Biden's personality or Trump's personality. I judge a human being, whether they're moral or immoral, by their actions. Trump, we had record low poverty. His economic policies that he implemented worked. The last year that he was in office, Democratic governors shut down their states. Media and bureaucrats were wrong about so many things. And they say, oh, he didn't take it seriously. Andrew Cuomo, Pelosi said the same things initially. Andrew Cuomo tweeted, there's no need to be worried, something like that. No need for stress or concern, something along those lines. It was not Trump's policies to shut down economic activity and replicate an economy with trillions in stimulus and checks. That's what the Democratic Party did. And so we had, in 2019, record low poverty, record highs in household median income. We had the Doha Agreement that brought Americans home, that Biden and Bush sent them to for 20 plus years. We'd have Americans still in that region of the world. And he tried, if it wasn't for Trump, and he tried to get Americans out of numerous other regions. And of course, he was lied to by his own, allegedly by some people in the DOD. Anyway, let's continue.
I did everything.
Tell them how y'all been suffering, y'all. How you hungry?
That's really nice, huh?
There's no housing.
You know each other. You two know each other. You should.
That's my mentee.
Yes.
She knows.
Picked me up in 2017, Mr. Trump, and he's been a great mentor ever since then.
I'll tell you what. And he's a great mentor to me, too. We had a great talk yesterday,
Absolutely.
Right? You know, that talk got covered all over the place.
We went all over the place.
I went all over the world, that talk I did with your
I got in
local
trouble
guy.
with the team because they said I went over my time. But
Oh, no, my team, don't worry about it.
Don't worry, all right.
And we'll do it again. You guys are great.
God bless you. Listen, let me get a nice black. Come on.
Hold it back. Where's the documents? You have any extras?
So when I met you in the Oval Office, I left my pen you gave me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so there you go. Right now I got it back.
Take a picture.
Got it.
Come on, take a picture with this. He's an original. I love it. He's even got the original.
Oh, he can sign my headphone. He said he can sign my headphone. No, the cover of it. He can do
Just moved to Atlanta. I worked for Alina for 7 years.
It was 37 years. But that's still more than what's
I love it. Thank you, everybody. You are a special woman.
I look forward to helping you again this year.
I love it. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
We won't forget it either. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And if they run a little bit low, give them some extras, okay? Are you the...
So right now, the morally superior liberal Democrats watching this, let's say the real prejudice, there are other words for it, the real prejudice exists within the minds of some, not all, but many wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats who look at human beings and say, you shouldn't be liking Trump. Just like Biden said, you ain't who you are if you don't vote for me. When he was in front of Charlemagne the God. Only a Democrat could speak in that manner. Only a Democratic politician could speak in that manner and get away with it. And here you have Trump, who actually did great things in terms of the economy and foreign policy. People's lives were better under Trump. Fact. It's not even up for debate. I don't want to talk about personality or morality because I like Trump's personality better than Biden's, and I think he's a morally superior candidate. You look at Trump's foreign policy, the things that took place under Trump did not take place. Let's put it this way, the peace deals that Trump implemented, the fact that the world was a safer place. The world is less safe, objectively less safe under Biden. So much so that we can't really go into it on certain platforms. And the economy is objectively worse under Biden. It's not a matter of opinion. If you know anything about politics or economics or foreign policy, you know things are worse. They're just, I don't care about political parties. I'm not a big fan of the Republican Party, although I'm conservative on a lot more things now than I ever was in my life. Okay. I can't imagine myself ever voting Democrat, except if, I can't imagine myself ever voting Democrat, but I like RFK Jr. as a human being, Tulsi Gabbard as a human being. Okay, so you have people that if you think, Vivek Ramaswamy, if you think outside of a very fabricated mainstream consensus that always leans towards the liberal Democratic Party viewpoint, and you can think for yourself, and you can look and say, yeah, you know what, that's a fabricated consensus. Actually, these things are not right. This is wrong. Like Trump does, like RFK Jr., like Vivek Ramaswamy, like Tulsi Gabbard. These are individuals. These are human beings with a mind of their own. Okay? They have a mind of their own. They don't need media. And that's why Trump is so fantastic. He's really, when you look at what this man has gone through, he's really an American hero because Democrats, media, Democratic Party politicians, courts have gone after him for political purposes as they shield actual criminal behavior within their own political party. Recently with Biden, they said, cognitive abilities. A jury or, would just think that he was an elderly man. It's like, what? That's not a defense. Well, let's continue.
Boss? No, sir. Looks like a boss. Come here. Give me a hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself. Thank you. Yeah, come on over. Come on over. Anybody's going to go. With that beautiful hair.
Malika, come on.
How do you do that to your hair?
I got your phone.
Go ahead. Take it.
Come on.
Come on.
Here we go. In place. Okay. I gotta go this way.
Now I want one with you. Come.
Oh, okay. Come on. He's personally requested
Come on,
me.
let's go. That's good. Beautiful.
Yeah, can my friend Dom get in one too?
Yes.
She's fundraising.
Come on
for
in.
the
Come on in.
Yep,
Come
she
on
helps
in.
me. Yes, Kayla, yes.
We're going to get rid of Biden.
Bye-bye, Sleepy Joe.
The worst president in the history of the United States, and he's horrible to the black community, whether you like it or not. He
Been that way
treats the
since a
black
senator.
community bad. And check out his record in the 1990s. Check out his record in the 1990s.
You're economically what's for us. Yes.
Well, opportunities.
Opportunity-wise, everything, holistic.
Best job numbers ever.
The First Step Act. Let's talk about it.
And the colleges and universities.
Yep.
I think she's got the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Heidi, can I get one picture before you go?
You take care of yourself.
Heidi, can I get one
Thank
picture
you, honey.
before you go? One picture.
Let's go fast. Come.
Malika.
Come on, do her first.
Get her phone.
Her first, unless she knows she's got, which I don't think. I don't think so.
Yeah, don't that smell, yeah.
Don't that smell me. Okay, smell it.
I love you guys. Thank you very much.
The only thing Democrats say, he took out an ad in the paper when people were wrongfully, 5 people were wrongfully accused. That was a Democratic-run city when those individuals were wrongfully accused. The mayor was a Democrat. the prosecutors, the courts, everyone around. It was run by Democrats. Trump didn't convict anyone. He took out an ad in the paper, didn't put anyone's name in. It happened to be also at a time in New York's history when there was rampant crime, like today. But they spin everything. They say, oh, well, he owned apartment buildings, and he wasn't there letting people in or out or deciding who was renting. It was like 1,000, something like 14,000 apartments that him and his father owned. And he said the allegations, he never admitted to anything. He contested every allegation. So so you compare that to destroying a country during President Obama's administration in Libya, the crime bill with Biden. I mean, these are things that if Trump had done them, nobody would forget them. But because it's a good liberal, the good liberals, they're such good people, they're such wonderful, morally superior people, they can destroy countries and, enact sentencing disparities. And, it's like send Americans off to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Poverty can go up under their watch. Interestingly enough, Democrats they govern the most impoverished cities and counties in the country, and yet nobody asks, why are they still in poverty? Why are these counties and cities that Democrats run still impoverished when we had record low poverty under Trump and poverty went up under Biden? But nobody asks that question because Trump is mean and Democrats are nice and they're good people.
By the way, we love you. That was really nice. A lot of people don't want to talk. They don't want to say, come on over here.
Thank you so much. Can I take a picture? Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Nobody.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, nice.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap this up with a little trip down memory lane when things were so much better, when Michael Cohen loved Trump.
Be easily overturned. Michael, what do you expect from President Obama when he leaves office? I expect more of the same.
Look, Sean, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter anymore. In 2 days, Donald Trump will become the 45th president. He's going to do everything that he promised during the campaign that he would do for the American people. He's already shown what he's going to do by keeping jobs in America, putting America first, and making America great again. He's just going to live up to his promises, which is really unlike, unfortunately, where we've been for the past 8 years. Sad that the only thing that will ultimately be remembered under the Obama legacy is, I think, that bronze sculpture that was just commissioned.
Yeah, I think that, and bringing back the bust of Winston Churchill, which I hear is coming back as well. Michael, a lot of people have asked me, because they know we've been friends a long time, why isn't Michael going with the president-elect? Have you decided to take on any role?
So I get that. Look, I get that question a lot. I'm obviously very loyal and very dedicated to Mr. Trump. I think he's going to be not just a good president. I think he's going to be a great president. He's going to be the president that ends up working with everybody, whether Republican or Democrat, including those Democrats that are choosing not to come. And the truth is, he doesn't care. As far as me, I spoke yesterday to Mr. Trump. You'll be the first one to know, Sean, you and, of course, all your viewers. I'm going to be the personal attorney to Mr. Trump. I'm not going to be in government, but I'm going to remain technically in the same role for Mr. Trump, for President Trump, as I was when he was president of the Trump Organization.
So can I assume that in that role, not being a government role, that you'd have attorney-client privilege with President Trump?
Yes, of course. And that relationship hopefully will last, for not 4 years, but 8 years. I think he's a wonderful man. I think he's going to be an amazing president. The family is just, fantastic. They're behind him 100%. He's going to have Jared and Ivanka there,
we made some news
speak
here.
to him on, that's right, on a day-to-day basis. But I will be in D.C. and in New York, anywhere Mr. Trump deems necessary. I'll be there.
Ari, I know you're going to disagree with me because
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, Paul Bartlett, Coach O'Connor, not intimidated. Thank you so very, very, very much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have Michael Cohen loving Trump at first, Stormy Daniels denying she ever had a relationship and then contradicting herself. You have misdemeanors that are trying desperately to elevate to felonies so they can say convicted felon Trump. It would be overturned. He'll very likely be convicted. And they're obsessed with trying to. This is when the Democrats or media say that Trump has a base, a rabid base. Nobody is more vicious than a wonderful, good, morally superior liberal Democrat. They'll disown friends and family, and they will accuse innocent people of things they never did, just for some kind of very warped, twisted thinking that they're on this grandiose fight against evil. And so they're going after Trump. They accused him of being an operative of the Kremlin based solely on lies. They've indicted him for 700 years in prison. Not even 1 second will he be in jail. And it'll be, he'll win in November 5th, convicted felon or not. And anyway, it'll be overturned in the New York Court of Appeals. Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you, everybody. Hit subscribe if you're new. If you want to support my work long-term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Thank you to my viewers in the Philippines, in Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, Nigeria, Korea, everywhere around the world. Thank you so very, very much. In Sweden, thank you. Thanks, everybody. In France, thank you so very much. Hit subscribe if you're new. Paul, can't thank you enough. Coach, everybody here, thanks, everybody. Not intimidated, thank you. To my super chat, thank you. Great, great live stream. I'll be back tomorrow evening. Might be earlier, but